Okay. So have you ever thought about what happens to all those IV bags and tubes after they're used in hospitals?
Hmm. Not really.
Yeah, it's not something that, you'd think about every day.
Right.
But get this, they're being turned into school shoes.
What?
Yeah. In South Africa.
Wow, that's incredible.
It is, right. And that's what we're going to be looking at today, this My Walk initiative.
Okay.
So we've got this press release here, and it says they've donated over 232,000 pairs of shoes since 2019.
Wow. That's a lot of
It
shoes.
is. And that's almost 8,000 kids getting shoes every single month.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And it's all thanks to this partnership between Netcare, which is a big healthcare provider over there, and Adcock Ingram Critical Care, which is a, well-known pharmaceutical company.
So they're using the actual medical waste to make these
Yeah.
shoes. That's so
I
interesting.
know. It's pretty cool, right?
Yeah, most of the time, you think of recycling, it's like plastic bottles, cardboard, that kind of thing.
Right, exactly.
But this is taking it to a whole other level.
It is, and that's why I think it's so interesting. What makes this type of recycling, I guess, so unique?
Well, I think it has to do with the material itself. You see, it's medical grade PVC, and typical PVC recycling methods, they aren't really suitable for medical waste because of the risk of contamination.
Oh, right. That makes sense.
Yeah, so my walk, they had to come up with a whole new process to make sure everything's safe.
So how do they, transform these old IV bags and tubes into shoes that are safe for kids to wear?
So they collect uncontaminated PVC waste from 19 Netcare hospitals across Gauteng.
Go Tang.
Yeah, it's the province where Johannesburg and Pretoria are. It's like the economic hub of the country.
Okay.
And then the material, it goes through this whole process where it's cleaned and transformed.
Wow. And then they're, ready to go. New shoes.
Yeah. Durable, new shoes, ready for kids to wear.
And not just, safe and durable, but, environmentally friendly, too, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. By taking this PVC waste and keeping it out of landfills, they're helping prevent harmful greenhouse gases from, getting into the atmosphere.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, and they estimate that for every ton of PVC they recycle, it's a reduction of 1.5 tons of greenhouse gases.
Wow, that's pretty significant.
Yeah, it really makes you think about the impact. And it goes beyond just the environment, too. Think about it. A lot of children in South Africa, they don't have proper shoes.
Right.
And that can really affect their, ability to go to school, to get an education.
That's
And
true.
that's what my walk is addressing
Yeah.
by giving them these durable shoes.
So it's a win for, the planet and the community.
Exactly. It's a win-win situation.
And, it seems like their success isn't going unnoticed. Because in the press release, they mentioned that they've received all these awards for their work.
Yeah, they won the SAB Beyond Awards, the Nedbank Green Economy Award, and they're even a finalist for a New York Festivals Award.
Wow, that's impressive.
It is. It shows just how effective and credible this program is.
It makes you wonder, what other things could be, I guess, repurposed in such a, I don't know, meaningful way? Right?
Definitely. My walk is a great example of what's possible when we get creative and work together.
And they're not stopping there, are they? They're expanding this whole thing.
You're right. The press release mentions they're moving into KwaZulu-Natal.
KwaZulu what now?
KwaZulu-Natal. It's a province on the eastern coast of South Africa. It's beautiful there, really. Beaches, mountains, the whole 9 yards.
Sounds lovely.
It is. But for a lot of communities there, they're still struggling to get basic resources, including school shoes.
So this program could really make a big difference there. But I'm curious, how do they actually, get the shoes to the kids who need them?
They work directly with schools all over, figuring out which kids need shoes.
So it's like a direct line to the kids.
Exactly. No middleman. Makes things a lot easier.
Makes sense. Now, what about the cost of all this? Making shoes from recycled hospital waste can't be cheap, can it?
Well, you'd think so, right? But they've kept the cost really low. It's amazing, actually. To give one child a pair of these shoes, it only costs R$35.
R$35.
Yeah.
Seriously. That's less than a cup of coffee here.
I know, right? It's wild. It shows how, even a little bit of money can go a long way. And that's actually a big part of their message. They want people to donate to help support their mission.
Yeah, every little bit helps, right? It all adds up.
Exactly. I mean, think about it. If everyone just gave a tiny bit.
They could reach so many more kids.
Exactly. It's the power of collective action,
For sure. And they even give you all the bank details, contact info, right there in the press release. So easy to donate. But Before we tell everyone to go donate, I've got to ask, are
Sure.
there any, like, challenges or limitations that they might face as they get bigger?
That's a good point. I mean, no initiative is perfect, right?
Mm,
One thing I could see being tricky is, making sure they always have enough of that clean PVC waste. They're scaling up fast.
sure. They need a constant supply.
But they seem to have good relationships with those hospitals, so hopefully that won't be a problem.
And what about, like, keeping the quality of the shoes consistent? They're making a lot more shoes now.
Right, yeah. But they're committed to making sure these shoes last,
Yeah.
that they can handle everyday wear and tear. They've got like strict quality control throughout the whole process.
Okay, so they're on top of it.
hmm
But zooming out a bit, what's the takeaway for our listener? Why should they care about this thing happening all the way over in South Africa?
That's a good question. I think there's a few things here for everyone, no matter where you are. First, it shows that like we can solve these big problems.
Like, there are solutions out there.
Exactly. If we get creative, we can turn like trash into something really valuable.
Literally turning trash into treasure.
Yep. And second, it shows what happens when people work together. My walk wouldn't exist without Netcare, Adcock, Ingram, Critical Care, and all those people donating.
Yeah, it's a team effort.
Right. And lastly, it's a call to action. My walk shows us that we can all do something. Like even donating R35 can have a huge impact.
It's about more than just the shoes, isn't it?
Exactly. It's about realizing that we're all connected. What happens in one part of the world affects us all. And we can all be part of the solution.
Yeah, it's like my walk is showing everyone what's possible. And I gotta say, learning about all this, it's got me thinking, what other stuff that we just like throw away could be turned into something amazing?
That's a great question. I mean, there's so much out there.
Right. We're so used to recycling like, plastic bottles and cardboard.
Yeah, the usual suspects.
But there's got to be other things. Like, what else is out there?
Well, take textile waste, for example. We're talking millions of tons of clothes and fabric getting thrown away every year, globally.
Seriously.
Yeah, and a lot of it just ends up in landfills,
Where it just sits there forever.
pretty much. But
Yeah.
some companies are getting smart about it. They're taking that textile waste and making new stuff. You name it. Clothes, insulation for buildings, you name it.
So I could be wearing a shirt made from like old T-shirts.
Exactly.
That's kind of cool. Weird.
It is, right? But it makes so much sense.
And it's way better than just throwing everything away.
100%. And another big one is food waste.
Oh, yeah, that's a huge problem.
It is. But so much of that food waste could be used for something else.
Compost, right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or even biogas, fuel for our homes.
Wow. So our food scraps could be powering our houses.
It's possible. Some companies are even turning food waste into like new food products.
That's crazy.
It is. But it all comes down to changing how we think about waste.
Like not seeing it as just garbage.
Exactly. It's about seeing the potential in things, even the stuff we think is
It's
useless.
about being like creative.
Exactly. And that's what my walk is all about. They're showing us what's possible when we start thinking differently.
So it's not just about shoes. It's about a whole new way of looking at things.
Yeah. And honestly, I think it's a really hopeful message.
It is. It's inspiring. And I hope everyone listening feels that too. It shows that we can tackle these big problems.
We can. And we should, because we all have a part to play.
Absolutely. And if you're feeling inspired to learn more about my walk, or maybe even donate to their cause, we've got a link to their website in the show notes.
Every little bit helps.
And hey, maybe the next time you're about to throw something away, stop and think for a second. Could this be someone else's treasure?
You never know, right?
You never know. And on that note, that's it for this deep dive. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Thanks for having me.